Welcome to Lagniappe, a program about events, issues, and people. I'm Cory Crowe, and joining us today, the cast of Memphis. The musical will be at the Jack Howard Theater coming up this weekend, and we've got Alexis Washington and Ben Simmons with us today. Welcome to you both, and thanks for being with us today on Lagniappe.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Let's talk a little bit about this musical, Memphis. I was asking you guys, I don't think anybody's performed this musical around here before. Ben, tell me a little bit about what this musical is all about.
Well, it's loosely based on the story of Memphis disc jockey Dewey Phillips. The main character, his name is Huey Calhoun. It's about Huey and Felicia Farrell as they embark on a journey of love and music while facing prejudice in 1950s Memphis.
The musical stars a lot of local folks. This is local folks. Alexis, we know all these people. They're from right here in our area, right?
Mainly, we have a few people from Shreveport, but basically local, yeah.
Your part in this musical, you are the janitor, Bobby the janitor. Tell me about that.
Yes, sir. I do play Bobby Dupree. He's pretty much like this happy-go-lucky guy. He's comfortable, I would say, with life as it is before he's introduced into a new life. So it's a journey that he didn't know he was going to take and ends up liking it.
Now, Ben, it wasn't that long ago that white folks and black folks didn't mix a lot, and when they did, there were often complications, right?
Oh, certainly, of course, yes. And this is, you see a little bit of this in this show. I mean, well, actually, the whole show is basically about that. Huey, he introduces black music to the general population on the radio station. And at first, his producer's a little skeptical about that, but then people realize how great this music was, and it starts bringing in advertising dollars, and his producer gets on board with him and fully supports his show. And it also branches out into a television show later in the play.
So the white DJ begins to play black music in Memphis. There were a lot of racial tensions then. And as a consequence, some things begin to happen. One of those is he falls in love, right?
Yes, he does. He falls in love with Felicia Farrell. She's a singer in a local nightclub, and he falls in love with her. He actually plays her music on his radio station, introduces her to the general population. They fall in love. They share a kiss in a street scene, and they are seen by some unsavory individuals, and there's a fight that goes on at that point, too. It's a representation of things that actually happened in that time frame.
This musical is set in the golden era of rock and roll. Alexis, what did you learn about the golden era of rock and roll from joining this cast?
I've learned that it's the basis of a lot of music that we still hear today. And it's a lot of our grandparents' and parents' music that we've grown up to listen to.
The musical's coming up this weekend with shows Friday and one show Friday, two shows on Saturday. You're the singing janitor, and I was telling you a funny story. I worked in radio, and we had a janitor. I don't think he said a word to me in the 7 years, and I'd say hi every day and whatever. I don't think the guy talked to me one time in 7 years. He was very quiet janitor. Is your character, Bobby, a quiet janitor?
He's not a quiet character. He's pretty goofy, almost aloof a little bit. He's, like I said, his head's in the clouds. He's just happy to be there. He's singing to himself. You can always catch him at the bar having a drink or whatever, but he's pretty talkative.
Now, I asked you how you got into this thing. I said, did you get volunteered for this or told you were going to do it, or did you audition for it? And you told me you're a pretty quiet guy, and this has kind of opened you up a little bit.
Well, I would say I was a little bit of both. I auditioned, but I was volunteered for this role. I'm quiet until you get to know me. I'll talk your head off, but this will be my first time publicly singing. And Miss Passion, it was actually her idea for me to play this role. I don't know what she saw, but thank you. And we hadn't
mentioned Miss Passion.
Yeah.
This is a production of The Arts with Passion.
Correct.
Tell me, Ben, how did Passion pick this play out? And Tell me a little bit about the organization, The Arts with Passion.
The Arts with Passion. Miss Passion, she moved away to Atlanta, and then she had to come back home to take care of some family business. And then she saw a need for shows in this area that represented, just the local population in this area. I know she's done The Color Purple.
Yeah.
And what other shows she's done, Bobby?
Yeah, she's done that one, Fences.
Yes.
And some other
this show, it spoke to her, and she loves this show, and she has really dedicated everything she has to making sure it's going to be a great production. We have been rehearsing for several weeks, and we're working really hard to bring a quality show. We've got 28 songs in this show.
Yeah. That's a bunch of songs in a musical.
It
it's hard enough to learn 10 songs in a musical. 28
songs,
and
yes.
dance.
It's nonstop entertainment. There's a love story, there's comedy, there's a little bit of everything in the show.
And Bobby, Alexis, you just mentioned it. I asked you, it's sometimes hard. Like, I can sing, I can act. Boy, you throw dancing in there, and it's a whole nother deal. Tell me about the process. Y'all started just a few weeks back working on this, and you're ready to hit the stage on Friday night. What's the process been like for you?
For myself, a lot of work off stage, just getting through nerves. Like I said, singing and dancing is new to me. I've acted before, but it's just a lot of getting through it. You have to go over your songs, because now I have way more respect for performers because every note's detailed. So,
the show coming up, Memphis the Musical at the Jack Howard Theater. And it looks at a lot of things that happened in that time of civil rights. Ben, I've got about a minute left. They kiss, they fall in love, they get beat up.
Yes, they do. They sure do. They get beat up, and that's addressed in the show. Huey continues to rise in popularity in the show, and Felicia, she ends up discovered by a New York producer, and she's offered the opportunity of a lifetime to move to New York. But Huey struggles with leaving the only home that he's ever known, Memphis, Tennessee. So I don't want to give anything away, but it does have a happy ending at the end of the show, though.
That's Ben Simmons, Alexis Washington with us today. The play Memphis the Musical at the Jack Howard Theater, 6:30 Friday, 6:30 and 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoon.